All right, for the second half of video reference, hopefully we're going to look at just perpendicular lines and their slopes and their equations. So hopefully from math message, we came up with this fact that if two non-vertical lines have the same, on the same plane, have the same, have slopes that are opposite reciprocals, then they are, of course, perpendicular. So some examples of that would be like -3/5 and 5/3 positive, 1/2, and maybe -2/1. Raise your hand. What if I gave you a slope of, let's say, -5? What would be a slope that would be a negative reciprocal of -5? Yeah, +1/5, because there's this 1 there. Flip it and make it positive. All right, so in the next part of the reference, we're going to determine which of these lines, A, B, and C, are perpendicular. So the first thing we have to do for each of these lines is come up with the slope. And the best format to figure out the slope would be which of the three. What do you think? It'd be slope-intercept form, standard form, or point slope? Yeah, slope-intercept form. So we wanted to convert these all to y equals mx plus b, y equals mx plus b. And the first one's already done for you. So could someone tell me what is the slope in line A? So in line A, the slope is 5. All right, for the next one, line B, we want to get it in slope-intercept form. So here we're going to take it and do what to both sides first? Minus x, 5y equals -x plus 2. And then the last step is divide everything by 5. And we're left with y equals negative. How could you write that as a fraction? -x/5. -1/5 x plus 2/5. So we're only really worried about the slope here. So can someone tell me what's the slope in this one? -1/5. And then the last one here, first thing we're going to do, we got to get it in slope-intercept form, is what do you want to do first, both sides? Add 2x to both sides. That's 0. You're left with -10y equals 2x. Divide everything by -10. And what would you be left with here? Yeah, -1/5 x. So therefore, what's my slope here? -1/5 again. So now we can decide, now that we have all the slopes, which are parallel and which are perpendicular. So can someone tell me line A, B, and C, which two lines are definitely, we'll start with parallel. So right here. So hopefully you said A and B, B and C, because they have the same slope. B and C, they have the same slope, so they're parallel. And which are perpendicular? So this one you would say A and B, and A and C, because they're both negative reciprocals. So A is perpendicular to B, but A is also perpendicular to C. All right, last example here. Similar to the last part, we're going to write an equation of the line that passes through 4, -5, and is perpendicular to y equals 2x plus 3. So the first step we need to do is figure out the slope in this line, which is 2. And now, what would, if we want to be perpendicular, what would be the negative reciprocal of 2? -1/2. So now we have the point here is 4, -5. So this is my x, this is my y. So just like before, we're going to put it into point slope form. So we're left with, who can tell me this equation in point slope form? Y plus 5 equals -1/2 x minus 4. And then I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm assuming we put this in slope-intercept form for the last one. So distribute, anybody want to distribute that? And then this is going to be plus 2. And then there's only one step to do to both sides, and what is that? And you're left with y equals negative 1/2 x, and then of course that is going to be minus 3. So if I go ahead into Desmos again, sorry I don't have it tuned up, but go to Desmos, fast forward this part again, here, and then I put in the two equations, y equals 2x plus 3, and y equals negative 1/2 x minus 3. You can see that here they're both perpendicular to each other.